I thought it was very interesting to see Ben Habib and Marina Purkiss the other day on Alexis Conran's programme on Channel 5. Now, Ben Habib, should I be supportive of Ben Habib? Not really, no. Ben Habib is now a member of the Reform group. Is it Reform? It's called Reform, isn't it? I think it's called Reform. And Reform UK. And he was a boy at rugby school, so I suppose now that I live in rugby, I should be supportive of rugby school. I'm not taught at rugby school. I've given talks at rugby school on a number of occasions. On one occasion, I remember I was in the chapel for a Sunday service, and I gave the talk in the middle of the service, and I recited Edward Lear, as you would. And I thought that went down very well. But the Ben Habib was trying to defend Suella Braverman. I don't quite understand why. He was blaming the government, but not blaming her. And I would have thought all the problems of the government, all the problems that Rishi Sunak has got, can be summed up by one person, and that is Suella Braverman, backed up by Jenrick. He's part of the same ministry, even if he's at loggerheads with his boss, and supposedly some sort of mole for Rishi Sunak. Anyway, Marina Purkiss said very clearly in this programme that she felt that Suella Braverman did not want to stop the boats. Although there was the slogan, she didn't want to stop the boats. Why? What was her evidence? Her evidence was that Suella Braverman has stopped all the legal and safe routes to the UK for asylum seekers. And that means that she is personally responsible for the surge in boats coming across the channel, because it is the only way they can get there. And that, incidentally, is backed up by what she said in the Select Committee to Tim Lawton on the 22nd of November. She agreed with Tim Lawton that was going by channel was the only way for somebody who had good reasons to claim asylum in the UK and came from Africa where there were no safe and legal routes to the UK. Come across the channel, regularise yourself on this side. And yet, the Nationality and Borders Act changes the tone slightly and suggests that the act of crossing the channel itself, that illegal crossing, always being considered an illegal crossing, cannot be regularised by claiming asylum afterwards, because anyone who has crossed illegally into the UK cannot then claim asylum. Well, that rules out almost every possible asylum seeker, because that also includes people in the back of vans, in the back of lorries, under trucks, under planes, wherever, however they get, and presumably also people who've overstayed their visa. So the only way to claim asylum in this country, legally, under the Nationality and Borders Act, and this is why I think it will be so heavily challenged in the courts, is somebody who has come here on a legitimate visa, let's say a student visa or a tourist visa, and claims asylum while they're here on that visa. Now, even there are challenges, because you can't change one visa for another visa while you're in this country, or at least it's very difficult to do so. And anybody who has been a student will know how difficult that can be. So often you are sent back home. Not always. Anyway, Marina Purkiss says, I did a Byline Times TV show with Marina Purkiss. She's wonderful. Marina Purkiss said that in any other business, Suella Braverman would be sacked. She was sacked by Liz Truss, of course, for breaches of security, for leaking documents, leaky Sue. And then she was reinstated only a few days later by Rishi Sunak as a gesture towards the ERG. So a sort of quid pro quo. I'll take leaky Sue if you take me. And then she's got her speeding fine. So she brings the ministry into disrepute. The biggest problem with Suella Braverman is that she has missed every single target that has been set. And she has failed. She has failed in every possible sphere that she has been working, even when it comes to the police. She's now busy putting out rhetoric which is fundamentally deceptive. She's saying we've recruited 20,000 new police officers. Actually, since 2010, the number of police has gone up by 5,000. That's a fraction of what she is claiming. And she has been raiding the international aid budget. 1/3 of it has been spent dramatically. So I find it extraordinary that Ben Habib has been avoiding criticism of Suella Braverman. What does Reform UK want? Does it want to go into some sort of partnership with a radically right-wing version of the Conservative Party? The Conservative Party divorced from reality, the Conservative Party that has been redefined as the ERG, or is he just being a lazy thinker? It could be anything, really. But Marina Purkiss nails that one. Absolutely. She is spectacular there in summing up exactly what's going on. Somebody incidentally pointed out that that they thought it was odd that I like Maya Tousi, because Maya Tousi votes reform. I don't know if he votes reform. I would be very surprised if he did, but I think one shouldn't anticipate what people's political allegiance, and I think one shouldn't draw too many conclusions. I think Maya Tousi incidentally is a very great performer in this particular sphere. Come on, you're making a lot of noise, and I admire that. I also think he's a good fellow. Ben Habib, I have no personal experience of. Marina Purkiss, of course, I cannot fault.